one of the first points I wanted to make, I think all the speakers today have spoken about, and Brian just did a terrific job of making the point last night, and that's that truism of middle school kids, that they don't care how much we know, they want to know how much we care. And the two most important things that good middle schools have to do is make kids know that they belong and that they're valued. And that's what good families do, and that's why we always refer to our great middle schools as families, right? Because ideally in a family, it's a place you know that you belong and you're valued. And think of the ways that in your school you help kids feel like they're valued and they belong. We're great at it for the smart kids, right? The kids who get good grades by themselves. A good test grade is a nice pat on the back, and the kid knows he's valued. Mom and dad put it on the refrigerator. Some of us have honor rolls. We talked about that last night. Our low performers, maybe even our special ed students, we have AIS programs for them. We have special ed inclusion models for them. We do a nice job with that. My school even has personal best awards. We do a nice job with those middle-of-the-road kids, too. Those kids we're afraid will fall through the cracks. I want to ask you about your schools. How about your gay kids? How about the gay students in our school? How do they know that they belong and that they're valued? How many of your middle schools have a gay-straight alliance? The topic of my talk this morning is to try to convince you to go back to your schools and start a gay-straight alliance in your school, because I think it's very important that we reach out to those kids and make them feel valued and that they belong. But this is a somewhat controversial subject in middle school, and I want to share with you some ideas for how, when you go back to your settings, you'll have conversations that will help you help other people understand the need for this. Our school has had a gay-straight alliance for the past 10 years. So I pulled some photographs to show you. Much of this due to the leadership of one of my extraordinary teachers, Alyssa Waters, but it's a privilege to offer leadership to that program and those efforts in my school. What's one of the first things people say about LGBT programs and GSA in a middle school? The kids are too young for it, right? Your parents are going to say, come on, the kids are too young. I have fifth graders. I have 11-year-olds in my school. I want you to think about the first time you had a crush on another person. I remember when it was for me. It was Joanne. She sat next to me in class, and I thought about her all the time. I couldn't think about anything else. My teacher would be talking, and I would constantly be stealing glances at Joanne. I guess she sat like over here. No matter what, when I raised my hand to answer a question, I wondered, what is Joanne going to think about what I'm saying? I thought about her at the expense of everything else. Homework, spelling tests, walking the dog. It might have helped if I'd spoken to an adult about it, but I was just too embarrassed to do it. I remember that I had planned on speaking to my dad about it because we were going on this long ride upstate, and I even remember that, okay, I'll talk to him about it when the Yankee game's over, because we were listening in the car on the way. I'm embarrassed to say I still haven't had that conversation with my dad about Joanne. If I had talked to a grown-up, I'm sure that someone would have told me that what I was experiencing was completely normal. They would have assured me that I was going to be okay, that pretty soon I'd be able to concentrate on spelling tests again, social studies and walking the dogs, but I didn't talk to any adults. I was in 6th grade when I had that crush on Joanne. I was 10. Has this ever happened to you? How old were you when you had your first crush on someone? The fact is, middle school is the time when individuals become aware of these kinds of attractions. So if it was difficult for me to have a conversation with a trusted adult, can you imagine how difficult it is for a youngster who is gay and is starting to have those feelings, to find someone to talk to about it? And shouldn't children who are having those feelings and feel that way have someone to support them and make them feel normal? I believe that every child should feel accepted in school and should feel normal and feel that they're okay. I know that children learn better under these conditions, and in fact, they can't learn at all if those conditions don't exist. Then you'll say, but Don, adolescents haven't figured this out yet. Why would we have a gay-straight alliance when they don't even know if they're gay or not? That might be true. I'm not a scientist. I don't know all the research on this. But don't we want to have a place where kids feel accepted while they're trying to figure that out? I've also had parents come in and tell me, why would you want to encourage it? Why would you want to encourage this? I can tell you, we've had a gay-straight alliance in my school for 10 years, and I can tell you with empirical certainty, no child has ever become gay in my middle school because we had a gay-straight alliance. Science and the law are pretty clear on this. Being gay is not a choice, it's part of what makes us who we are. The American Psychiatric Association has condemned psychiatric treatment based upon reparative or conversion therapy, which is based on the assumption that homosexuality is a choice. Recently, a federal judge in New Jersey upheld a law barring therapists from trying to turn gay youth straight. Having a GSA or an LGBT program in your school is not going to make anybody gay. I had two parents once come into my office to try to talk to me about this program. And I'm always very open-minded, and my first response when people, frankly, complain about the club is, come on in, let's have a conversation about it. I'm eager to talk to you about it. I'm eager to explain things and have a conversation. I don't know how to explain this to you, but I kind of look like that kid who sat next to you in algebra in Catholic school, so I think sometimes parents think I will be the first one to say, you know, you're right, you've talked me into it. I'm not that guy. One of the things they said is, but this is the only club that you have in your school that's about sex. I don't even think my child knows about sex yet. I don't want him learning about it in school. First, I want to tell you that sex is not discussed at our middle school GSA. There's no instructional manuals given out. There's no photographs, no PowerPoints. We do that in health class. Secondly, being gay and gay marriage is no more about sex than heterosexual marriage is. It's about who you want to love and spend your life with. It's a natural human impulse to want to share your life with someone who you think is special. My wife is my best friend. We do all kinds of fun things together. I want to be with her all the time. When something good happens to me, the first person I want to share it with is my wife. When something bad happens, she's the first person that I want to talk to. She's the person I know I can always count on, and she knows that she can count on me. Doesn't everybody deserve this? And what about students? If a kid at the middle school has gay parents, or a gay aunt, or a gay uncle, shouldn't they feel like they can talk about their families in school and not feel ashamed about it in some way? To do the same thing that kids of heterosexual parents do? Should they be embarrassed about it or feel like it's a secret? By the way, when those parents were in my office, and I had that conversation with them for a while, I said, you know, we've been sitting here for 20 minutes, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I haven't thought about sex once. So to equate a GSA with sex is just not right, and it's not fair. I was asked, why do other kids attend your GSA? My Gay Straight Alliance Club is the most well-attended club that I have in my school. Kids flock to it. And I remind parents that the S and the A in GSA stands for Straight Allies. You know, I did my master's degree at Queens College, and I didn't realize this, but I once noticed a plaque dedicated to Andrew Goodman, who was one of the students who traveled to Mississippi to march for civil rights in the 1960s. He was killed along with two other men by the Ku Klux Klan because of their efforts to win equality and civil rights for African Americans. Andrew Goodman was white. I'm proud that I attended the same college as Andrew Goodman. The fact is that no civil rights movement in this country or anywhere has ever succeeded without the support of members of the majority. That's the main focus of our bully prevention program at our school, whose motto is, we don't stand by, we stand up. We encourage our students to be positive bystanders, and that's what it says in our t-shirts. So having a GSA is a way of enlisting everybody in your school to stand up for the rights of everyone. Another thing you'll hear is that there's certain religious objections to the gay lifestyle. I'm Catholic. I went to Catholic school for 16 years. No one ever taught me to make anybody feel bad about themselves for who they are. I wasn't taught to exclude people or deprive anyone of their rights because they're gay or for any other reason. There's nothing anti-Catholic about a gay-straight alliance. My mother was the most devout Catholic I've ever met in my life. You know what we weren't allowed to say in my house? Even if we were talking about breakfast cereal, hate. My mother would say, Donald, we don't use that word in this house. We never say hate. As far as I know, every religion of the world is committed to helping others and making the world a better place. Besides, public schools can neither endorse nor discriminate against anyone's religious beliefs. I can't think of a valid religious reason for not having a gay-straight alliance. And then I've had parents say, but Don, when kids say that's so gay, all they mean is that's stupid, right? They don't really mean it as a pejorative. That's not okay. We've all got identities in this room. We're teachers, parents, battalions, we're coaches, Jewish people, we're Catholics, stamp collectors, baseball players, Muslims, cooks. Everyone's entitled to be proud of their identities. You know, I'm Irish American. If someone said when something was stupid, "That's so Irish," that would get me angry. I wouldn't like that. It would make me feel not good about myself and not good about my identity, and that's not okay. And I'm asked sometimes, why do you need a GSA? Aren't we accepting enough? Don't we have other clubs in the school that meet the needs of kids to make them feel accepted? Frankly, I wish I didn't need to have a gay-straight alliance. I wish that at middle school, the pejorative of choice for kids wasn't faggot and gay. We hear it in the hallways all the time. They do say this. And I wish young gay adults didn't commit suicide because they feel like they're not normal, or they feel like they don't belong, or they feel like they're rejected, or they're harassed by their peers. But we all know in this room that happens. I hope that one day having a GSA is like an anachronism, something that we look back on as an artifact from some earlier, less tolerant time. Meanwhile, I strongly think we need a gay-straight alliance at every middle school in our country. And you know what? More convincingly, schools that have GSAs have been proven to be safer for all kids, not just gay kids. We have kids who try to talk their parents into letting them stay home sick from school if they have a zit on their forehead. Can you imagine how hard it is every day for a gay kid to get up and come to school, given the circumstances that he or she sometimes has to face? Having a GSA sends a strong message to all your kids and the staff that everyone belongs and that everyone's valued. One of the points I want to make is, you might be sitting here thinking, let me think about this. He's making some good points. This is going to be a big challenge for me, though. One of the things I found is this might not be as big a deal as you think, you know. About 4 years ago, we sponsored the Challenge Day program. I don't know if you've had Challenge Day. It's a really cool program. And one of the activities is where people get into a little family group, they call it, and they do an activity called If You Really Knew Me. For some reason this day, I wasn't there for the 7th grade Challenge Day program. And I called my secretary to say, how did it go? She said it went great. Jeff came out to the entire 7th grade at Challenge Day. Jeff, our art teacher? Yeah. All I could think about was all the phone calls I was going to get when I got back to school about my art teacher telling the entire 7th grade that he was gay. But, you know, I said to my secretary, wow, go Jeff. I want to tell you that was 4 years ago. I haven't had a single call about my art teacher. And in fact, the kids love Jeff. And it just was much less of a big deal. And I think that people, when you give them a chance, are much more understanding and compassionate and progressive than we give them credit for. I want to just say that I didn't come to these ideas overnight. It was an evolution for me too. And I came to this through many, many conversations with many people who are enlightened and have passion for helping all kids belong. I evolved to a better understanding of the needs of gay, bisexual, transgender, and other individuals through these conversations. And I think that it's important as educators and leaders that we have those conversations and that we evolve. Because just as I evolved over these many years, you can do it too, and many of the people in your community can too. And it might sound trite, but the more we get to know each other, the more we accept each other. And I'd invite you to go back and have those kinds of conversations. I'm privileged to be the principal of a remarkable school that's been doing this work for about 10 years. So the only thing I want to leave you with is that if you want any help with this, I encourage you, I pretty much implore you to reach out to us, and we're happy to work with any school that wants to do work in this area. Because as I said at the beginning, our most important job is to ensure that all of our students feel like they belong and that they're valued. All of our students. Thank you very much.